we are creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective, moments in time captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome Brianna Thomas to the Working Artist Project.
Hello. Hello.
So today I want to talk to you about, defining your art and how do you define your art and what does it mean to you?
I think that my art continues to define itself, and it tries to, I feel like I'm trying now to be open to the idea of what it is, and it helps to shape me in that way. I feel like art is to me like a song. When I'm writing a song, sometimes it seems like the song is already there and I just happened on it. And I was in the right space at the right time, mentally, physically, or whatever in life, to be able to receive that song and translate it. And I'm learning to let the music that I try to make and that I hear and that I feel I'm learning to let it be what it is and try to live up to it. Deep.
It just came
I hope
over
that
with
made sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course it made sense. Yeah. So I know we talk about this a lot. You feel like you're on the outskirts of musical, being able to be category in a category. You don't like people to say that you're just a blues singer or you're just a jazz singer. You're just that because you have a lot of influences. Why is that?
I don't like to. I don't pick songs to sing because of their genre. I pick them to sing because of the feeling that they create in me, and I think that feeling and artistry is beyond genre. And I think that people look at an artist and they see their artistry, but as an artist, you are just trying to find that thing in you and to be able to express that thing in you and let that thing be in you that can bring you into a better understanding of yourself, others, and your whole reason for being here. And to share that with people is an amazing thing. And I don't think that has a genre. It's not that I don't want to be considered a jazz singer or a blues singer or a country singer or whatever. I want to be seen as a vocalist. I think a vocalist does not stick to a genre or a type of music when all kinds of music, as a music lover, all kinds of music speak to me, and I try to take whatever I need for the moment, and for the feeling that I'm going for.
Like who do you follow? Who's followed that path that that you're looking up to now?
I love Nina Simone. I think Nina Simone sang anything and everything she wanted to sing. Diane Reeves is another person. It's like jazz is definitely, and blues, and the music of the African diaspora, that is where we come from. Right. But it's a lot of different things. It's not just jazz. It's not just blues. It's not just this or that. And I think that the message of the song and the truth that I see in it and that I can bring to it is more important than just saying I'm going to sing this blues or this standard now.
Right. It lacks feeling when you do that, no?
Yeah, it's the point then is about something that is less important.
Okay. So why is it important to define your art? Because it's difficult if you don't get into a category and then you have to define it somehow.
I'm learning that. I have had many people ask me questions about what kind of singer do you consider yourself to be, and different variations of that question, or how I define myself. I think that it's important to know who you are, because if you know who you are, then you know who you're not. And I think that if you know who you are, then, especially as art is concerned, we don't wake up the same every day. We don't go to sleep the same every day. We don't eat the same meals all the time every day. We don't say the same words every day. So why would we be in the same mode of creation all the time? I think art helps us to define ourselves, and that if we look hard enough and if we are open to it enough, that it can certainly help us to find out where we are.
All right. Deep. Everything's so deep. So, like, I want to change gears a little bit. Like, I was talking to, Gabrielle Murphy?
Yes.
So I was talking to her the other day, kind of about the challenges of being a female saxophone player. And so I'm just curious, what are the challenges for you, for a female vocalist on the scene? Or do you think those things are the same or different?
I think that being on the scene in general can be a challenge because in that way, whether you're male or female, because we are at work, whether we're in the club, it is our 9 to 5, and there are drinks going on, there are good times happening, but you still have to remember to maintain a certain level of professionalism while you're in there just living life and having fun, just like any job. And I think whether you're a man or a woman, personal dignity and respect, when you have that for yourself, you can show it for others. So, if you're a woman, and it can be difficult to be sometimes taken seriously, especially when you're trying to be, like a leader. I've been very fortunate to have some amazing people that I work with and have worked with in different genres. But this is a topic that I've heard many of my female colleagues bring up, and that I've witnessed myself and that I've been through. It can be difficult when you're a woman to be a woman and to be a boss. And that's a big category.
Wait. What does that mean?
Well,
name names. What does that mean? Who?
I mean, women, we can wear many hats. And sometimes when we are looked at and accepted in one hat, when we suddenly put on another hat, that can be hard for people to swallow and digest. And not just men, other women too. And I think, and let me take it out even further, I think that's probably just a human being thing. Learning to recognize each other in different ebbs and flows of life, and accepting that, you encounter this person in one way in this situation, and then in another situation, they have a different status. Learning to respect one another across those lines, I think, yeah.
So, like, how do you overcome those challenges? Like, say you're in a band and maybe you're getting sexually harassed, or someone's not, giving you the respect that you deserve, or you're in a situation where the band ain't as swinging. But how do you communicate those things without stepping on the male ego?
I always try to talk to people the way that I would want them to speak to me. And that doesn't mean that is right. It just means that is my way of trying to communicate with people with the best integrity that I can have. I don't know. You learn people, so you learn how to communicate to your band members. You learn that saying one thing to this person will create the opposite effect of what you really wanted, and you learn how to communicate. I think you have to meet people where they are, but there should be a certain level of respect. You can't respect somebody else, then you can't respect yourself. Right. And that's all one thing. So I just try to be straight up. I think that there's no time sometimes for anything else. I kind of sort of need,
Well, I think a lot of times too, men are expecting the woman in the group to be like that. Like, guys, I mean, come on. But like, we don't communicate with each other like that. So sometimes we're not as responsive.
And sometimes, like as a woman on the scene, I'm a woman, but I need direct too. I appreciate when I can't read your mind. I don't know what exactly you're thinking or feeling. I can do my best to empathize, but I don't know your exact thoughts. So if you have something that you need or want from me on the bandstand or whatever, say it, and we'll go from there. If I still don't understand, try to, explain it a different way. But at all, be truthful and honest, because, otherwise we're just out here practicing and doing things that are not the truth, and then later on that's a worse problem.
So what role did your parents play in your development as a musician?
So both of my parents are very extraordinary. My dad, to me, I love my parents.
Right.
But my dad was an amazing vocalist and a drummer. And in fact, drums was my first instrument. He knew enough, though, to get a teacher for me, because I think that would have been a problem. But he wanted me, he exposed me to a lot of music. My mom was my father's rock and support, and she is a musician in her own right. She has ears like no one. She doesn't play music, and she doesn't sing, although I've heard her sing around the house, and I do like her voice. Can't get her on stage though. But she when I write a song or I have an arrangement idea, she's the first person I call because of how she hears it. She knows when she's hearing something that is right and that feels right and that is something. And she and my father met when my father was 21, she was 17. They were together for 43 years, and they have both been a support to me in different ways. My father nurtured me and the music inside of me and exposed me to all kinds of different things. I grew up 2 years old in the club with him when they couldn't find a babysitter, that my mom would just take me bopping around the club, social.
Right.
And and my mom would facilitated me getting out there. She took me to my first talent shows and just, encouraged me. And still, when I was in college, I would call her and say, Mom, what am I doing? I'm in New York City trying to be a vocalist. There are vocalists that are amazing everywhere. Am I crazy? Can I sing? and she would say, yes, you can, and you're doing great. And so she really has been a backbone, and I think everybody needs that. So
yeah. Well, you're lucky, because a lot of people don't have that, especially in the field of arts. They want their kids to be doctors and lawyers or computer technicians or something like that, right? My dad
was not the biggest fan of me pursuing music. People would be like, oh, you should put her on Star Search, or he would be like, Book Search. He wanted me to.
Well, your pop knew the struggle.
Yes, he did. He
didn't want you to have to go through that,
but he still prepared me, and he was an amazing vocalist and person.
So where did you study music?
Where?
Yeah.
At the New School University. I think it's the New School for Jazz and Contemporary Music.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Real sophisticated.
Well, it's I never thought I would go to college. I couldn't really afford it, and there had been some circumstances in life that just led me down a path where that just didn't seem like it was going to happen. And I auditioned at the New School, and they gave me a full ride. And I had to pay for dormitory costs, which was still a struggle because I was broke. And but it worked, and they, the way that I learned there was very fortunate. I still have the paper of the first song that I ever transposed. It said, "All of me, transposed from C to G by Brianna Thomas on September 7th, 2007. And because
You're gonna frame that joint.
It was such a big deal that I had that information